So a few weeks ago, I put out this video about how Wim Hof's records don't really check out when you look into them. He claims to have 26 Guinness World Records, and there's all these videos of it. And then I messaged Guinness, and I talked to them, and I went through their accounting, and it really only turns out that when you talk about a record, which is something written down, there's only 3, right? There's only 3. This is all reversed. This is super weird. Okay. So that video came out, and Wim Hof's Inner Fire immediately started changing their websites and trying to make the claims look a little different. And then this morning, I got inundated by emails when Wim Hof put out this video right here, where he responded to me, even though I'd written to him asking him for some verification. He decided to put out his own video saying that, yes, he has tons of world records, and this is going to be my reaction to Wim Hof's 18-minute long video. And we're going to see if his records check out, see his own explanations in his own words. And, I think it's going to be super interesting. I haven't really gone through it all. So, yeah, we're in this together. Here we go. So I'm going to make myself smaller. Bink. Hi, there's me. I'm going to get rid of those. And there is Wim about to talk. Without further ado, here we go. Bink.
5 seconds between 2 hot air balloons in mid.
Okay, let's go to the
Guys,
beginning.
this episode will be about my records.
He's hanging from a balloon and he's swimming under the ice. Ask Wim.
Wim,
yeah,
how many world records do you have?
All right, so that was my question from him. So thank you, Wim, for answering my question. Let's go.
Climbing Mount Everest to the death zone. In short.
Is that a record? Climbing Mount Everest, he did climb up a lot of Mount Everest, not all of it, and he got frostbite in his feet, but he did climb it. But is climbing a mountain a record, just having done it? Wait, what is that? What does a record mean?
Mount Kilimanjaro climbed without acclimatization within 2 days with 20.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that a record?
Conditions. Hanging by one finger for 26 seconds.
22
Hanging
seconds.
by one finger at 1.5 kilometers, like 1 mile.
What are these things?
With 23.5 seconds between 2 hot air balloons.
Ooh.
Winter.
I mean,
3
okay,
hours.
that sounds hard, but
horse stance, barefoot in the snow in winter.
okay, so that one was cool because I actually looked at this video. I'm not going to bring it up here, but I looked at his video of him doing the horse stance. And I bet he's going to show clips later in this. But it's really funny because it says, horse stance, and it says not Shaolin horse stance, Wim Hof horse stance, as if to say, if I call it Wim Hof horse stance, it's a record. So you did a thing. That's great. That's awesome. You did things and you do awesome things. Well, super appreciated for you. But is it a record?
In Poland. Running a full marathon in the desert of Namibia, Sossusvlei, without drinking. Walking barefoot with 1,000 people.
But none of these are on Guinness's website. None of these are recorded anywhere. These are just Wim saying these things, which is
sitting
fine.
in
They're
an
stunts.
ice bath with 600 people for 2 minutes for the count.
Do all of those 200 people also get the record, or is it just Wim who gets the record for being there?
That's a foundation. Sitting in the ice for 2 minutes with 1,500 people in Sydney.
Okay, so he sat in an ice bath with 1,500 people, and that's a record? Well, that's an audience. That's like Trump saying, I have the biggest audience ever, or whatever.
Sitting in the
Wim does a lot of sitting.
Baltic Sea, midwinter, with 1,500 people for 15 minutes.
Ooh.
Guinness World Records. Running half a marathon.
Now we're in the Guinness
to
ones.
Start with barefoot beyond the polar circle mid-January.
This is true. This
we
record
got
is
the,
verified.
Standing in the ice, in full body contact with ice, immersed up to.
Yeah, he did that, and he set it.
Case.
He set that record and then kept breaking that record by adding like a minute at a time.
It started in Paris. I did a half hour. 12 days later, I did it in Los Angeles, Universal Studios, for 1 hour. And from there, I got to be invited to go to Paris, to London, to Beijing, to Tokyo, to all these places. I forgot to count. Like 18 times. I broke it. Every time, 1 minute. Why?
Every time, 1 minute. I added 1 minute every time I did a stunt, and some talk show had me come on, and I broke the record.
I could have broken it with 10 minutes or half hour.
But
I did it. I'm not a fool. I got to be invited to break the existent world record.
And then, all right. I mean, that's sort of legit. I did a stunt, and another place wanted me to repeat that stunt and technically break a record every time because it was a big publicity event. Yeah, that's exactly what I said in my video. Nice job.
I did 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 hour, 2 minutes. This is the way I got to see the whole wide world. Amazing.
Amazing.
Meanwhile, I did different records, Guinness World Records challenges as well, like swimming under the ice.
The first time he did that, he almost died. Let's see, because he did. He's written this in all of his books. He blacked out underwater because he was hyperventilating, and he blacked out, and they had to be rescued by a rescue diver in his first attempt at breaking this record. Does he mention it?
50 meters, 57.5 meters.
No.
It all started in 99. And that is after I did many challenges already. So I was very, very well trained. You can't do these things just like that. I mean, I was into these crazy ideas because my body was ready to execute what I was thinking before. There is more than meets the eye.
Wim Hof is a ninja, and he had super trained himself to do amazing things that are not really records, but are stunts. And he's super cool. I mean, I like Wim. Like this is true. He did these things. Are they records is the question. And when you start presenting yourself as these are records, these are written down things in order to, establish yourself as somebody who is a great person who should be paid a lot of money to get, $50,000 for a 1 hour speaking engagement. He uses these records to substantiate those things. And I'm not saying he didn't do these events. I'm just saying, is it like super duper special that he did all of these events?
Only my body was now shaped up to be the extension of my mind.
I mean, I can't do a split like
so, that. So, 99, I got acquainted with the television. Willy Brodt, Fréquin, who was a reporter and a presentator of a show, challenged me.
Yeah, Weekends with Willibard or something like that. This is where Wim really did get, first sort of international notice. It's sort of like a daytime stunty flavor of the week Dutch TV show. This happened.
Then he found out I'm not full of shit. I'm the real deal. And he took me to all these challenges. Hey, Wim, can you swim under the ice in the night darkness of Finland in deep freezing temperatures? Are you able to do that? And I said, yes, I can do that.
Yeah, and he can.
I did 7 meters under the ice, which was spectacular.
7 meters, so 21 feet. He swam 21 feet underwater. I mean, it's not spectacular. It's just a thing that people do all the time.
At that time. And when it was all done, we were sitting having a dinner, and then he told me, hey, 7 meters, but I can do 50 meters.
Oh, that was cool. In that video, you actually saw Wim's younger brother, Marcel, a second ago. I wonder if I can go back just a little bit. Oh, no, I went back too far. Oh, yeah. You see actually Marcel
sitting having
in the
dinner,
background, I think. There, right. And I think that, no, maybe that's not Marcel. Okay.
Hey, 7 meters, but I can do 50 meters. And he said, yes, in 3 months we will be back here and we're gonna do 50 meters. Horizontal swim, just in shorts.
A horizontal swim. Okay, yes. And he's saying just in shorts. Well, what else are you gonna swim in?
Breath hold.
And you're breath holding under ice.
We did it. Even then,
And he did it.
the Guinness World Records did not.
And it's so important here. He's really hammering in this point. I did this record underwater. He is not saying that he almost died and was rescued. I mean, he said that in other events for sure. But like, one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos is because 20 people are now dead doing the Wim Hof method. And it's partially because of him presenting his feats as part of doing breath work and water. Anyway, he's apparently not going to mention that.
Was not in play. We never asked for that, but they came to us because they saw that I did 50 meters horizontal swim in my shorts.
All right, I have no idea. I have no idea if Guinness approached Wim or Wim approached Guinness. Interesting point.
In wintertime, they found out, hey, but we are Guinness World Record. We need to get onto it. So they acknowledged that to be, after it all was done, to be a world record. I thought, if that is a world record, I can do more. Then I went into 57.5 meters. Then I went into half hour fully encased in ice in Paris.
This was the first event where full body contact with ice that Wim did. I believe, and it was in 1999. It might have been a little bit later. It might have been 2001. And he did it. And he broke his record. He set and broke the record because no one else was challenging him. He was just challenging himself. It's like if I had the #1 record for books about dreaming in my pocket, you know, and I got another book on dreaming, and I put I am the world record holder for books on dreaming. Have me on your TV show. Like, whatever. No one was challenging him.
Records.
I mean, it's still impressive. It's hard to do.
Can you
like,
do
I'm
this
not saying
world record standing in the ice? And yes, of course, yeah. I had little money. I went, oh yeah, of course I want to do this. Yes, yeah. Let me. Yeah. And the phone call was in June. In the Netherlands, it's not cold in June, in July, in August, in September. It's not cold at all. So I had no training. I was confronted with my mind there, but I already had said yes because I was in need to do this and to get this.
What is he talking about?
And then I found out, just by being in fear, focusing your mind only, because I had no money for ice cubes and getting.
What is Wim talking about?
And they're all done and trained like I do normally in winter. In 4 months' time, I was so riled up just by using my mind that September in Madrid, that was the most easiest record of all time. And that's where I started to believe in the power of the mind.
All right, so in September, he started believing in the power of his mind? I thought he believed in it before because he was so cool, because Willebroed Frequin thought he was amazing. Like, didn't he just say that? Now Wim started to believe it because he started doing these world records? I don't get it.
Every time.
Oh, okay. I think this might be important. This is Wim in on maybe Everest. Look at his shoes that he's wearing. Because I think I've noticed that he changes his descriptions of the shoes that he wears while hiking a lot. And it will be important later.
When you do a world record, you are anxious. You gotta be ready, 100% motivated. Not only the body needs to respond, to show something never been done.
I mean, I do like Wim. I mean, he's charismatic. He's a
My
nice guy.
objective is to show that there is more that meets the eye and that we all are capable of doing that. And because I got the attention of the world doing all these records, like running beyond the polar circle, marathons, or on 5,000 meter, Mount Everest, barefoot.
Well, 5,000 meters on Mount Everest. Everest is what, it's like 37,000 feet. So 5,000 meters on Everest. Doesn't matter if you're on Everest or not. It's only 5,000 meters. So that's 18,000 meters. Is that the top of Everest? So he went a third up Everest. Okay, cool. It's not a record.
I endured and suffered cold injuries. But I did it because I wanted to do and to show that we are capable of so much more.
This is true. He did get cold injuries on Everest in both of his books, Wim Hof Method, this one, and becoming the Iceman. This one, he does mention how he got frostbite while going up Everest on his feet, which is not really, that's not that shocking that he got frostbite.
And that led up to doctors looking in the night to the documentary. Hey, the Iceman, he is running a full marathon barefoot outside in the snow beyond the polar circle and freezing temperatures. What is this? I'm a physiologist. I see this.
He's like, this is like when Clint Eastwood interviewed a chair. Well, what's he doing now?
And this is not possible by normal human scientific understanding and standards. But
no, this is totally understandable by environmental standards. You know, when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock, the first person they met in the middle of the Cape Cod winter was some Aboriginal dude named Samoset who showed up in a loincloth in the middle of the winter. Like, it's not unknown to science or history. It's just weird, which, you know, I like Wimmy. I like that he's weird.
He is doing it. So I got the attention of the scientific world, and they started to do research on me. First on me as a person, and then we started to do comparative studies.
This is more or less true.
After
there
I
were
did
many
a
studies
full
on women.
record, in short, beyond the polar circle, full marathon, I got it.
It's not a full marathon. He did not do a full marathon above the polar circle. He did a half marathon above the polar circle. Maybe he just misspoke.
Yeah.
He misspeaks a lot.
I did all the things. I did swimming, I did running, I did climbing, I did all the things in the cold.
I think I might have taken that footage.
Now, let me go into the heat. So half a year later, I had it organized together with a physiologist to Namibia. And run in the Sossusvlei desert. I had 2 coffee and just started to run. And for 42 kilometers, which is 26 miles, I think, without drinking any water. When I was running and losing 5.2 liters of water out of transpiring, sweating, but my core body temperature remained the same. That means what I did in the cold was learning how to deal with temperature.
This is super interesting, and I don't know much about Wim's time while he was doing the Namibian desert thing. But, you know, it's interesting. He lost 5 liters of water and wasn't rehydrating himself. This does not sound safe. This sounds pretty dangerous. It sounds like maybe his kidneys were in trouble. I'd love to see what the actual results are of this. And it's not part of like the Wim Hof method. It's not like explained that you can do this. So it's like sort of on faith that this is interesting. We can put the Namibia, it's not a record because what's it a record of? Like of guys named Wim Hof running through the desert? Yeah, sure. That's not really a record. That's not how I think of a record. Go on.
With stress. And it also worked in the heat.
Yeah, he doesn't have a heat protocol that he teaches.
Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro with 26 people.
Was this with me?
All kinds of conditions like arthrosis, cancer, Crohn's disease, asthma. 26 people. And they all...
Okay, so this is one he went up before me. I think this is in 2014 with Gert Buche, who did actually do an article about how the Wim Hof method helped acclimate them up to the top. But it's a record of what? The record ascent for Kilimanjaro is like 2 hours.
Did it in less than 2 days. And
yeah, 2 days is more than 2 hours.
This was considered to be impossible, but we did it anyway.
It was
we
not considered
defied
impossible.
Normal thinking of what physiologists, alpine experts, doctors told.
Yeah, this is what Wim does all the time. You know, Wim makes these statements like, physiologists said this was impossible. And like, yeah, well, which ones were saying that? Like, you know, which one and what and why were they saying it? Like, he just makes a statement and then he's not going to back it up. He's just going to charisma you so that you believe that there's this big pharma conspiracy against him. And then he's going to use scientists to say like, but the scientists who didn't believe me also said I'm great. Like he sort of plays both sides of that coin. Let's go back, continue.
Before we went, we did it anyway. And we did it 1 day faster than we had planned. And it was just amazing.
So what was the record?
These people found out breathing differently and believing differently is thinking differently. Is finding out that you actually have much more power within
Having people think differently is not a record, but it's cool. Like sounds like a fun expedition.
you.
I bet he's going to skip the one that we did together.
Laws. So
yeah, he's going to skip the one we did together. This is my prediction. I don't know, but I bet he's going to skip it.
called stated by science. We did that. Less than 2 days. Kilimanjaro, 26 people. Amazing.
Okay.
Here in the Netherlands, we set out together with the television and I came up with this challenge. Let's go with 1,000 people barefoot for 1 kilometer on the ice rink in Friesland, which is very...
So what? You got a crowd of people on an ice rink. I mean, cool. It's a stunt. It's a stunt. It's a publicity event. It's a way to spread your brand. Great. But it's not a record. It's not like I did a feat of endurance. It's like you got a big social media posting. Nice job.
Very well known for the speed skating competitions of the world. They are very good at it. But this was unorthodox. We did it and amazing. Well, how beautiful it is when all these people come together. It's like
cool.
Nature binds the people once again as an energy that comes together. It was big.
It was actually a fundraiser for a film he was working on, I think.
Then another record was, I've been called up by the Cancer Foundation to do a world record to raise as much money possible through...
I got a world record to raise money for stuff? What are you talking about?
Setting a record with 600 people in ice immersion for 2 minutes. Coming in.
That's not 600, but maybe they staggered it. Oh, I think I know that guy. Okay, it's another stunt. It's not a record.
And getting out, 50 people coming in and out, in and out. I was
he staggers it.
encouraging, motivating them. I was being there and yeah.
Being there for people is not a record.
And I didn't go into the ice, it's too cold for me.
Actually, that's actually really true. I've been to many events with Wim where we're leading people through ice baths and stuff like that. And Wim actually doesn't go in. He sort of stays outside of it. It's a little disconcerting. Even going up Mount Kilimanjaro, when I did it with him, I was the one who was shirtless most of the time, and he was wearing like a blanket over him on the ascent. But yeah, good point, Wim. You didn't always participate in your records.
We doubled that record of now from 600 people to 1,500 people for 2 minutes.
I had a big event.
We did that, organized ourselves in Sydney, in Australia, in and out for 2 minutes. 1,500 people. That was another one.
Okay, cool.
This
is weird.
Record.
This
Imagine,
is weird.
Never been done. Hey, let's do 2 hot air balloons, bind them to each other, and go up there in the sky at 1 mile in February, in between, and then hang in a ring for 26 seconds.
Daar hangt hij dan, op een kilometer hoogte tussen hemel en aarde. Enkel...
He's flipping off the camera. I think he's literally flipping off.
En alleen aan de...
Yeah. He's flipping off the camera and being like, fuck off, dudes. Look what I'm doing on the balloon. I mean, this is weird. Is it a record? I bet he probably is the only person to have done this. But what does this say about him? Like, what is this? Why do we care? Why do we care? Like, so I should follow your health advice?
middelvinger van zijn rechterhand.
Ongelooflijk, heerlijk. Wat een man, wat een lef. Top, Wim.
Okay, nice.
Hey.
I mean, it's weird.
Wereldrecord.
That's well
That is another thing which was never been done. Every time I do a record, something unthinkable of, not thought of before, it's amazing to get out.
Yeah, every time he does something that's never been done. I mean, I guess that is sort of like what Guinness's shtick is. But then he sort of like modifies it by saying, look, well, if it's a guy hanging from a balloon by one finger named Wim Hof, it becomes real. I bet he's going to talk about horse stance at some point here.
Out of the box, what we think is possible. Bam.
He is putting the time, so when you are ready, just tell.
I'm ready. Then there was a guy asking me, when you drink beer? I said, well, no, I say it's yellow water.
Yeah, Wim drinks beer. He was an alcoholic for a long time. Look at his nose.
I mean, I'm not a Puritan, but I got control over myself because I've been defying my fears and challenging myself throughout my life. I will show you what is control. I will, in 1.5 hours, will go outside and stand for 3 hours barefoot in a horse stance. 3 hours barefoot in the snow, outside, January. Yes.
Okay, so Wim does this all the time. It's part of his thing, and then he stands out horse stance in the snow, and you know, he makes it a long time. Cool.
Yes, he said.
Cool.
But first you need to get me a beer. And he got me a beer.
Drink
so
a beer.
Fast.
Great.
Boom.
Cool.
Half hour later, I was outside. 3 hours, horse stance. Amazing. You know.
Now, it's not easy to do this. Like, your feet get cold. Like, and it is impressive he did this. Is this a record? I don't know. Is it sort of like make him sound like does this make him sound a little superhuman? I don't know. He obviously has this power to be out there. Does that make you a healthier person? Like, this brand is actually getting confusing to me. Let's go listen to more.
What is even more amazing? All the people who were present there in the retreat, they came outside to help me, to stand behind me.
Okay, so when he says horse stance, I think this is why when you go into that video, it says Wim Hof horse stance, not Shaolin horse stance. You see the guy in the light blue shorts? Like, the Shaolin horse stance is like really deep. And like, I think the record for like Shaolin horse stance is something like 10 minutes or 8 minutes in horse stance. So just the fact that you could do a horse stance for a long length of time is impressive, and then doing it in snow makes it even more impressive. But Wim is actually just wide-legged stancing. Like, that's not horse stance, that's Wim Hof horse stance. And this is the weirdness of this record.
And some guys did it 1 hour and 1.5 hour and
wide
2
standing.
hours. Amazing. If you show people, when you get out of the box, when you challenge your fears, when you show what's really
it's basically what he's saying is like, you have this anticipation of something, like you have this anticipation of something being really hard, and then you get to do something that's not actually all that hard, and you actually get to do it. So that surprise allows you to apparently do something that feels superhuman and is really cool. And that is one of the magical things about the Wim Hof method. But like, getting out of the box is something that you can do. It's not a superpower. It's just you anticipated, you had anxiety about something, and then you found out that actually physiologically most humans can do this. I mean, 3 hours, that's cool. Nice job, Wim. Here we go.
control all about in your own mind, then suddenly people are able to have faith in that and to connect with their bodies.
I mean, I don't disagree. That's sort of the root of the Wim Hof method. You do something surprising, you realize your limits are bigger than you had anticipated before. But how does this, fit in with all of the other so-called stunts that he's doing? These are mostly stunts. They're not records.
And being able to do unimaginable, amazing feats.
It is imaginable. It's imaginable.
This is what I saw and experienced. It was amazing.
Wim.
Another record in the Baltic Sea, January,
up.
in Poland. 1,500 people for a quarter of an hour. Really cold. These Polish people, they are strong. Another record,
Another stunt.
organized as an official Guinness World Record in the whole of Poland.
Actually, it's not an official Guinness Book of World Record. I'll put a link to the actual official Guinness Book records down below, because this one was not provided to me by Guinness. But okay, a lot of people went into an ice bath together.
Rus clubs. Morzewania, that's in Polish. Morzewania means go as a walrus in the cold water. Because
Like the
I
polar
did
bear
all
club.
these things,
And they all look dry up top, so they just went halfway.
I got invited to lead and motivate people. In this case, with 2,000 people in Poland, in Poland to do an organized effort, organized Guinness World Record setting from Przejrzyka, Dolny Śląski.
It's not a fit, like, look up the record. Do you find it on Guinness? No, it's probably not there.
To stay for the longest with 2,000 people, coordinated, communicated. Now we go, and they went in all the waterfalls in Poland all together. 2,000.
He's basically stating the existence of polar plunges, and he's claiming credit for it. People polar plunging.
People. Well done. Don't know how long, but it was a record to do it with 2,000 people. At least.
Okay. All right. We'll post the record, dude.
At least 5 minutes all. In the end, it's not about the records. Records is nice also for the people to participate. Hey, you are part of a world record, so you're a world record holder.
Okay, he's gonna say here, my bet is that records don't matter. It's about the fact that people do this, and it's the inspiring for those people, and that's good. And I sort of agree with that, but I also think that he uses these records when you go onto a podcast, when he goes onto a thing, a book event or whatever, and they say Wim Hof, the 26 Guinness Book record holder, which, it's only like 18 or 3, depending on what the actual records are, but he's got all these feats of endurance in the snow, and he's amazing, and therefore he can teach you how to do it. But when those records are, I got a lot of people together to go sit in the snow, and we sat good. What is that? What it's not a feat of endurance. He hung from a finger. He did the Namibia thing. He walked partway up Everest and got frostbite. He almost died while swimming under the ice because he hyperventilated. Like, let's get some context here. All right, back to him.
Hi guys, this is the longest with 2,000 people challenging it, but I don't need it.
Sorry.
Yeah, all came there from. And that's what we need, because I am a firm believer that we can find any solution of problems we have right now in nature. And in the end, it is our inner nature. That's why I did all these records, and I keep on doing it, challenging it, but I don't need it anymore. Yet, I'm every day in the cold, because I believe what I do and I feel what I believe. This is my pathway. The most valuable thing I got out of this all is to have a method which is accessible, effective, powerful, and scientifically endorsed, and to give it to you, which is enabling the people to wake up to their inner power. Everybody has his own unique way. The cold and the breathing and the believing, therefore, are able to give you back what is yours.
All right, so there it is. I think I lost like a minute of that. And I think that he sort of summed it up nicely. Like, it's not about the records. It's about the fact that people challenge themselves and they feel like they're part of a community and they grow. And all that's great, which is why I still practice the Wim Hof method for 11 years. And I'm in the ice bath all the time. I do the breath work every single day. And he's right. Like there is something about inspiring people, but there's also something about being factually accurate that is important. And when you lie, Wim, when you lie to people about a number of records or about the science or about, or if you teach, you get so enthusiastic about how good you are about holding your breath in water that you teach people to hyperventilate in water, even though you have warnings on your website and there's these negative consequences, you undermine the method that you are trying to save and present to the whole world. Like, these lies, these inaccuracies, and this irresponsible behavior is hurting the thing that is so good about the Wim Hof method. Like, that's the problem here. I'm flattered that Wim Hof, saw my video and wanted to correct the record on his records and sort of clarify some things. I needed to clarify some things here, but he is a fabulist. He is a person who's trying to impress you, and he gets paid a lot for this. Like, do not think that Wim Hof is giving this all away for free. Wim Hof's empire is worth around $18 million, according to their last filing. He's making millions more, and he brags over and over again that he gets $50,000 for an hour of his time at corporate events. And he tries to control the way instructors are able to make their own money. Like, he is at the top of this organization, and it is not simply altruism. This myth of the records, is actually a vital myth to who Wim Hof is in the world. All right, well, that's all that I'm going to talk about right now. I have reacted to Wim's video. If you want to find out more, I have this whole playlist called Outer Fire, where I talk about like the suspicious and weird things with Wim, including the $67 million lawsuit and the 20 deaths that are racking up every single day. Like, I feel like every other day I get another message from someone who died or says that they know somebody who died. There's some real issues here. It doesn't mean that the method is bad, though. There's really good things about it. So it's hard to toe the line between things. So watch that Inner Fire one, and then go watch some like really positive Wim video about how awesome some of the science is. And then we can have a really complex discussion about what's actually happening. So I appreciate Wim putting this video out. Thank you so much. Next time you can also pick up the phone and call me. Wim, call me. I know you blocked me on all social media channels, but I'd love to chat again. Bye.